Today we have the questions that you get in your board examinations for chapter 2, that is chemistry of outer transition elements, that is part of inorganic chemistry. In the previous videos we have studied the general properties of the transition element, that is the D block elements, and to be more specific, in our course we have the 3D series that is belonging to the 4th period. So how you get the questions in your board examination is firstly you have the short question answers for 4 marks and 8 marks for the descriptive. So you get this as the scientific reason, in which you are asked to give the scientific reasons of the 4 questions. You can see the first one shows the alloy formation property. The second reason is from the electronic configuration, binding energy, and the catalytic activity of transition elements. So from the properties you get the scientific reasoning. In scientific reasoning you do not write the complete explanation, but you have to write down the exact reason that is causing that particular exception or property. For example, for the first one, transition elements have tendency to form alloys. What will be the answer? The answer is because they have smaller atomic radii, so they mix easily, which give them the tendency for the alloy formation. For the second, as the half-filled electronic configuration is more stable. Same will be implemented on the remaining reasons as well. So you get it for the 4 marks, one reason carry 1 marks. Next question you get is for the short question answers, in which you are asked to define the properties of the transition elements. It says explain any 2 properties. Here in this question 3 properties are provided, and from these 3 you have to attempt 2 properties, which means each property carry 2 marks. In this you have to give the detailed explanation of the property that is asked. You also get a short question in such a way in which they ask you that what are outer transition elements? Describe any 2 of the following properties. So first you will describe the outer transition elements. And what are outer transition elements? These are those elements which have their valence electron or outermost electron in the d orbital. Now it says describe the 2 of the following properties. In the previous question, each property was carrying 2 marks, but here if you read the question or try to solve the question thoroughly, you can see that this marks distribution will be different. Why? Because here they first ask you about the outer transition elements, so you get 1 mark, and then you have 3 marks, which makes each property of 1.5 marks. So it's completely up to you that out from all these 3 properties, which is variable oxidation conditions, color formation, and magnetic property, which 2 properties you want to define. Make sure that when you attempt this question, you are giving complete and detailed analysis for the properties that you have selected for the explanation. You also get this in the 8 marks descriptive. It is very easy that if you get 2 properties for 4 marks, so for 8 marks you will be getting 4 properties. So if you get this in your descriptive, the writing methodology will be same. You have to give detailed explanation of the properties along with the reason that is causing the properties. Also, if there is any exception, so that exception must also be mentioned. For example, in the color of complexes, you have to define the interaction of transition metal and the ligand. And this interaction causes the splitting of the d orbitals into 5 energy levels. That diagram must be drawn. What happened? That explanation must also be given. Same goes for catalytic activity. That what is the catalytic activity and what are the factors that affect its activity, along with the examples of those transition elements that act as the catalyst. The most common is the vanadium that we studied for the contact process for the vanadium pentaoxide. Binding energy. What is the Trend of binding energy for the transition elements. Magnetic behavior. In magnetic behavior, we have two parameters, the paramagnetic as well as the diamagnetic. So complete and detailed explanation of the paramagnetic as well as diamagnetic behavior must be mentioned when you attempt this question. Make sure that you must go through these properties because this is a very major chunk that you get in your board examination. In the descriptive, also in the short question answer as well. If you get the properties in the short question answers, then eventually you won't be getting it in the descriptive, otherwise the question will be repeated. And if you get this in your descriptive, then it will not be a part of your short question answers. This shows how important this topic is, that either it is the part of the short question answers or descriptive question answers. So if you prepare this topic, you must be able to attempt either the short or descriptive question answer. How you will attempt this question? Make sure that you read the question thoroughly. When you attempt this question in your board examination, make sure to give detailed explanation for each property that is asked. Similarly, if you have the reasons, for the reasons, there is no need for the detailed explanation. You have to write the exact reason or the keyword that causes that following property that I have stated in the initial of this video, starting of this video. You can watch all the previous videos that I have made on the general properties of the transition elements, and if you still have any query, you can reach out, or you can also write down the notes that I have prepared in the videos. You can copy those down and you will be getting full marks in your board examination. As per the question that is asked, you can simply report your answers. Once again, make sure that you are watching the videos completely so that you have a better understanding of how you will get the question in your board examination. This is all for today. This is the chapter 2, that is inorganic chemistry, the general behavior of the transition elements. Once again, we are focused on the 3D series, which is the 4th period, as this is the part of our curriculum. This is all for today. And thank you so much. You might also get this in your multiple choice questions for the properties. I have already discussed it in the previous videos for each general property, so you can definitely go through it as well. Thank you so much.